Hello everyone, today I would like to share with you a list of supernatural abilities that activate when you are on a raw food diet for at least like 3 to 4 months. But yeah, it has to be like proper raw food diet because many people don't really do it properly and they fail, and then they say it's like a bad type of diet or not for them. But I will talk about it in the next video, like what are the rules for proper raw food diet. So I will talk about certain things that I experienced on like switching on a raw food diet, and yeah, we can call them supernatural or superhuman abilities, but they're not really. Obviously, we are part of nature. So when you do something good for yourself and whatever activates, that is natural. So what I'm going to be talking about, look at this, like even when it's like, whoa, this happens. I hope it's going to be revealing to you like how much we are being poisoned, and not just being poisoned, but we are choosing to poison ourselves. So it's your choice, and hopefully you will be able to reflect on your choices after this video, because again, what I'm going to be talking about is not super natural. It's absolutely normal that we should be able to experience with our bodies if we wouldn't be full of toxins and damaging ourselves. So first thing that I experienced, or well, not the first thing, but first thing I'm going to be sharing with you on a raw food diet was no sunburn. And being on a raw food diet was also quite awakening and revealing for me. With the sunburn thing, I was really surprised because when I started raw food diet, it was in the fall, so it was like many months until, let's say, spring, when I started to expose myself to the sun more. And before, I would always get sunburn. And when I was on the raw food diet and I started to expose my skin for a longer periods of time, I started to feel it like a sizzling. It was like, it really was reminding me bacon sizzling on a pan. And I was thinking, oh my god, I'm going to be so sunburned after. It's like when I'm literally feeling it. And afterwards, I never was sunburned on a raw food diet because, yeah, like this is the thing, like your whole body just heals inflammation, heals everything, and it turns on RNA. But you could say like, okay, activates certain parts of DNA, but it's like RNA expression. And we have all these codes already, but they are just sleeping, and RNA activates according to stimuli. It can be sometimes environmental changes, like if we would move to somewhere like where it's very cold, something else could trigger different genes and like expression. And also the same is like when we move to hotter climates. So this can change as well, but also the food and how you heal, it will allow the RNA to properly express. So after that, like when I was feeling it, so I wasn't burnt at all. And I realized, later, of course, I wasn't always raw. I went back, and many times. And when I went back after this first experience, I realized that actually when you don't feel your skin sizzle, it's when it's going to get burned. Because that sizzling is that skin is functioning properly. It filters UV or whatever. Of course, like that's science. UV should be the one that is causing our skin to get darker. And so when skin is working, it can completely naturally protect from the sun, and you should actually feel it. So when you don't feel it, you will get sunburn. Another funny thing that happened to me several times, because as I said, like I was going on and off of it, was that I started to smell toxins in a cooked food. Toxins that we eat, like, and I'm not talking about junk food. Like, for example, I was again, like for a long time on a raw food diet, and I visited my sister, and she was cooking, like she is definitely on like organic, healthy food. So she was cooking something like it was vegetables with like tomatoes and some other veggies. And when I smelled it, yeah, I smelled pee and sweat. So basically, the concentrated stuff that comes out of your sweat and pee, that smell that you can smell when it's concentrated and filtered, I was able to smell it in that cooked food. And that is basically the belief on a raw food diet as well, that basically you are damaging food when you are cooking it, and it just starts creating more toxins, you know. So that is another funny thing that happens. And yeah, this activates again, like you have to be on a raw food diet, and again, like it's all about like how you are capable of reaching a healed state, no inflammation. And imagine, like, even like we talk about like how dogs have a very strong smell, or cats, and you know, other animals, and like humans don't have. But maybe the reason is again that we are just not being our DNA is not being expressed properly and functioning properly, and our smell could get maybe even closer to dogs' smell. You know, it's not about size of the nose. Probably maybe not as great as dogs, but you know, like much better than what we normally experience. Another thing that I also experienced was that I had a very stable energy throughout the day, and I was never tired really, even in the evening. And I wouldn't have a problem to sleep at the same time as well. I would be able, because yeah, like I would maybe, right now I cannot remember how it was, because yeah, right now I'm not fully on a raw food diet, to be honest, but I am definitely like very high raw, like maybe up to 80% raw food diet, and I'm switching to fully raw food diet. Maybe that's why I got inspired to do this video. So I cannot remember in the beginning, like, because it was like in 2011 how it started, like but I cannot remember I would have problems with falling asleep. But at the same time, I noticed like I had like constant energy throughout the day. And yeah, also I forgot another thing, I didn't write it down, is hunger. Like I realized that hunger is just some stomach pain, you know, like your stomach wants to shrink and detoxify as well itself, and that is the hunger. Because on a raw food diet, when you are longer on it, you realize that you are no longer hungry. And no, it's not because of fiber or whatever, it's just your environment, everything is like environment in your body is less toxic, so stomach doesn't need to detox as much, it doesn't hurt basically. And you need to realize that when your body needs some energy, it will give you much different clues that it's hungry than just the hunger and feeling in the stomach. You know, if the hunger was really about like, oh, I need energy, why people would be, you know, like overeating? Yeah, because they enlarge their stomach, they get hungry, and they are getting fat. So you cannot use hunger as like, yeah, this is a signal that I need energy. It's not that, you know. Then another thing that I noticed was shorter sleep. It was interesting in the beginning that my sleep was changing, like it was adjusting, shifting. And funny was that I started to wake up exactly at, I think, 7 a.m. it was when I was doing it, like maybe first time or first few years. And so I started to wake up at 7 a.m. exactly, and it didn't matter when I went to sleep. So yeah, at the beginning I was like going to sleep like around like maybe 10 to midnight, you know. And then some nights, you know, I would go to sleep much later, and I would think like, okay, I would probably wake up later, but I always woke up at 7 a.m. and I was not tired at all during the day. Like I would feel like I had lack of sleep. I didn't feel that. And later, because obviously 2011 was very far in the past, it's many years. I cannot, yeah, it's 13 years. So my when I was going through the, you know, like other cycles again, like when I went to raw food again, like my sleep was even more shortening. Like naturally, you know, it would be like 6 hours is like okay. That is signal that you are healthier than most of the people when you naturally sleep 6 hours, and you don't need to and you don't need coffee or anything. You are just, you know, constant energy throughout the day. You can consider yourself healthy. But my sleep was going to 4 hours, and then extreme was like, yeah, 2 hours. When I started to sleep, just the 2 hours, like I would just wake up, I would think like, oh, must have slept like 6 hours or something, and I looked at clock and it was 2 hours. And the most extreme that happened to me just a couple of times, I slept just 30 minutes. Like I slept 30 minutes. And I was like, oh my god, like what am I going to do with all this time, you know? So yeah, another huge thing that happened to me and that I experienced was that on a raw food diet, when you exercise, like do something with your muscles, and yeah, you overdo it like horribly, you will never get sore muscles, you know. Sore muscles are from the basically that your muscles tear and they get inflamed. And on a raw food diet, maybe they as well tear, but they just don't get inflamed because inflammation in your whole body is so low that it just doesn't do that, you know. And I had one again another extreme experience with this was again it was 2013, yeah, 2013, when I went on like a test run or run drive. Ride on a bicycle that was like 80 kilometers in a day with the school, you know, like that was just I don't know what this was. It was like very short trips, you know, like or small trips that anyone in a school could attend, and we were like a small group of maybe up to 10 people. And we went like on a very flat roads, you know. We went to Austria, and the wind was so strong. It was like, you know, like so strong that, you know, I was just pedaling and I would almost be like static, you know. And my thighs were not used to that work. And even during the pedaling, I felt like my muscles were just going to explode, like literally. And this is similar to that skin thing that I felt like sizzling, you know. And so I was thinking like, oh my god, I am going to be so destroyed. I probably won't be able to walk tomorrow. And I even shortened my ride because I said like, yeah, like maybe I went just 60 kilometers or something like that. And at some point I was like, I'm going home, you know. And I was also fueling myself only with a few bananas as well, so I was completely fine. In the evening, like definitely I felt like my thighs were like destroyed, really. Like it was difficult to walk, you know. They hurt, I think. Yeah. I was overall like definitely tired because it was totally like yeah, just destroyed. And next morning I was surprised, no sore muscles, you know, no muscle pain. And I was completely normal, you know, feeling. Maybe this is what I cannot remember. Maybe I felt maybe a little bit of weakness or something, but no pain, you know. So the recovery on a raw food diet is just, yeah, completely like amazing. And also I'm just remembering there is this document. It's called, okay, I cannot remember what it's called. Maybe, yeah, powered by green smoothies. It's kind of like an experiment, very like with a few people, but they also basically proved this, you know. And they only edit, I think, just one smoothie into their life, and it has to be, I think, also green. Well, obviously green smoothie. It's called powered by green smoothies. So, and yeah, one guy in the group refused to do it eventually, and yeah, his results were terrible. And they were also like checking their like inflammation, you know, low grade inflammation markers, and as well like recovery and stuff like that. So you can watch it if you want. Yeah, now I'm going to go more into spiritual stuff. So this is something like, yeah, it can happen, may not, you know, so it really depends, because for the spiritual part of your life, you of course need that inner work that, you know, we talk about so much. And so there, with this, there could be some other aspects you as well would need to do, or maybe even face. If something like this happens to you, you will need to face proper, you know, education for yourself, because yeah, like when you activate Kundalini, spoiler, Kundalini, you will definitely tiptoes or jump into a new sea that you never experienced before, and you will have to learn properly, because that is the sea of no BS. And when you are not, yeah, when you are denying something to yourself, like the ideas, thoughts, and you are being false in some way, you can destroy yourself in some ways, you know, or your life. Now, I'm not saying like you will die, but definitely you can just, yeah, go bad in different ways, you know. Maybe I could also talk about that like in another video, like what are dangers of Kundalini awakening. So another thing is that you will most likely experience more lucid dreams, remembering dreams, you know, and lucid dreams are of course a form of astral projection. So you will have more opportunities to as well work on that, you know, work on your teleportation or manifestation in astral and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't have much to say to this. So, so another thing is that I wrote down is psychic ability. So basically, again, like, and this is definitely connected to your opening of your chakras. And again, like on a raw food diet, you cannot handle a raw food diet if you are not as well working with yourself. If you have traumas and stuff like that, and dealing with yourself in some ways. And if you do that successfully, you will again most likely open up your chakras, and that means also align them, harmonize them, and have a Kundalini awakening. And that means that also, and you don't have to have full Kundalini awakening. It depends on which chakras you are able to activate more and stuff like that, or open up slowly. Then this is also related with the astral projection dreams. It can be also related with never getting tired, basically, as well, you know, because you are channeling more universal energy into your body. That is also probably connected with the sleep, you know, like you just become actually properly more multidimensional. And so your intuition that way can get heightened as well. You could feel much more connected to universe. You can feel that you are supported, that you are guided, and so on. And obviously, eventually, that is a base as well for channeling, if you want, or, you know, like, as I said, like channeling is basically just actually developed intuition, you know. And especially like when you are on a raw food diet and you go through the long actually transition through the raw food diet, you can trust yourself more to be. And also if someone else is like a channeler, then I would say you can trust a little bit more to those people. But again, it's not always the rule, you know. I know some other at least one raw foodist that is kind of like a huge ego, but I'm not going to talk about it. And he's not really channeler. It's like you know, something else. I rather not to talk about other people, but it just is not. What I'm trying to say is not a rule that when you are on a raw food diet or see other people on a raw food diet doesn't mean that we are super gods, you know, or something like that, or semi-gods, or yeah. That includes that, you know, like a spiritual work on yourself and looking at yourself and so on. Basically, yeah, people can achieve long-term being on a raw food diet, but still kind of like be a lot very, very egoistic still person. And yet, and the very final, obviously, is Kundalini awakening, and that is basically what can slowly happen overall. Like, to me, I for example, to me, like my Kundalini awakening, it started, I think, maybe in 2010, but I was always much more energized than other people. I felt, I had problems sleeping even when I was a child, so there was already something waiting there, to be open, or maybe I was already partially open. And so basically in 2010, and that was not even when I started raw food diet, but like I was on a still much healthier diet than most of the other people. And since I was younger, maybe I wasn't that damaged, as much damaged, although I did have health issues, and that's why I actually got to raw food diet. So at first I would have like a spinning of the chakras, lower three chakras. I would wake up at night and they would be spinning. Then later it was like a few years, and this was maybe already when I was on a raw food diet. Then these three chakras, it just at the night I just woke up that energy was rising, through them, so they were aligning, and it kind of like scared me sometimes, and I was like, no, I'm not ready, don't go into my heart and higher, so yeah, but yeah, definitely on a raw food diet when I was still in further years, I experienced like each time when I went on a raw food diet, even like connecting, feeling entities, like not entities, well, beings, higher vibration beings, was much easier. I would feel them visit me, connect with me, and all that stuff. So like this, just in circles, as I was doing raw, each time when I went on a raw diet, it just amplified even more. And also good stuff about raw food diet is that definitely when you are in this state, like when all these things that I talked about are activating, you are naturally immune also to astral parasites, obviously bad reptilians that use astral parasites to influence your thoughts, to lure you into toxic ways, and just give yourself that chocolate or pizza, whatever is your comfort food, burger, just have it. You can have it if you don't feel that's great, all these thoughts are coming from actually those things. And yeah, maybe I will this is like for too much big topic that even right now I'm over 20 minutes, but yeah, I would need to separate this into several different videos, like what I wanted to say, what I already opened up and hinted. So oh my god, how I could forget about this supernatural, superhuman ability. The experience also on a raw food diet that I had is that, and this happened like within few months when I first went on raw food diet, is that you stop feeling cold. Your body is constantly as well holding specific temperature, and even when temperatures are low, like of course not extreme, but low, that you usually would get cold, you are not getting cold. And it's like a body is because body has more energy that doesn't have to use for healing inflammation, body is capable of heating you up when it's necessary, and even when like you need to you don't have to use so much heating as well, because you can feel environment is cold, but you can as well feel like you're emitting heat constantly. And normally when people would be in this environment, when they're not on a healthy diet or they're not healthy, they would get very exhausted, and they would need to hibernate basically and sleep. So on a raw food diet it doesn't happen. And then another thing is also warm. Like I had experience, it was again like a many months after, and no, it was actually even second year of my raw food diet when I went on this is what I find out also the first summer, that I wasn't experiencing heat as much, and I wasn't feeling it. But the second year of it was was it second? No, it was, I don't know, third maybe. It doesn't matter. So I went on a holiday with my family to seaside, and there was like over 40 degrees Celsius, like 42 degrees Celsius. It's probably like about 100 of Fahrenheit or something like that. And everyone around me was dying, and I was like, what's going on? And I don't feel anything. I feel like it's 25 degrees, you know. And I also like for example, once I had like crossed legs, and my skin was touching, and suddenly I felt like someone was sprinkling me with water, and I was like, what's going on? And on the side, when my thighs were touching, yeah, there was accumulation of heat, and also so my body was producing that much sweat, but otherwise I wasn't even sweating. And I saw, yeah, just other people being completely wet, dying, and everything. And I didn't know that there was 42 degrees, you know. Then my you know, like a family member checked temperature in the car that was in the shadow was 42 degrees. So even on the sun it must have been like 45, maybe even more. So it was like that. Like when I was child, I couldn't bear heat, you know. I was dying, you know. And when we went on this vacation, I knew there was going to be like over 40 degrees, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to die if I don't do raw food diet there. And I did even more than that. Like I ate only in the morning. I ate like apple, banana, and yogurt. Obviously yogurt is not raw, but that was fine. And throughout the day I drank 3 liters of water. I stopped at 3 p.m. drinking water. I afterwards my body was soaking it up, and so I was almost holding it all. And after 3 p.m. I decreased like how much I drank, because I was so saturated and I didn't need it. I would drink it just only if I would really feel like I was thirsty in my mouth or something like that. And I would eat only after sunset. One time, and after sunset I ate also some other stuff, not just, you know, raw food around that time. I could have some crackers, but most of the time it was something like a fruits or whatever. And I couldn't prepare normal salads and stuff like that, so it was very like just grab and go stuff. And one evening I was going hungry, you know, and at the same time I wasn't completely hungry throughout this, like it was like 10 days, you know, and I didn't even lose weight. And so I was waiting until like I was just looking like when that sun is going to fall behind the horizon. And like the whole time, as I said, like I didn't feel the heat, I didn't feel humidity or anything, and the sun was still up. And I was like, yeah, I will, yeah, it's already almost under the horizon, so I will eat banana. And you know, banana is raw, but after I ate that banana, suddenly something happened. Like there was some kind of drop. Like I started to sense humidity so much, and I couldn't breathe, you know. And I was like, what the fuck is this, you know? So so I definitely was in some special state around that time. So basically I was most of the time fasting, but still, you know, this just shows you, like when you do something like this, it triggers something special in the body that, you know, you just don't feel the heat, you feel like it's completely normal, while its temperatures are like probably old people will die very easily around that time, and other people around like were not handling it. So that is another superhuman, you know, normal, natural, how we should be as well, you know, functioning, but we are not functioning because we are poisoning ourselves. So that's all what I wanted to add. I will end the video here, and I will talk about again like the rules of proper raw food diet in the next video. So thank you for watching, and of course if you like this video, like it, give me a like, that it was useful information for you. Or you, of course, leave a comment if you have something to share, you know, about what I talked about. So see you next time. Bye bye.